All right, so this is a motherboard I use for mock-ups a lot of these times. And a lot of these older machines are running out of space. There's not enough fan space in here. Now, these motherboards are getting a lot older, and this one only has 3 fans, for example. There's one right here. This is for the actual fan for the CPU system. And there's another one in here, and there's another one in here, and that's about it. And they give you this one for the pump, too. But most likely, a lot of these fans tend to fail within a motherboard, not enough power sometimes, or you're generating power from somewhere else, and it just depends on the motherboard. And this is an older motherboard. It's an Asus motherboard Gigabyte. It's an older motherboard that does not have too many fan controls, too many fan connections, but there's options out there. So once you have a motherboard here, you could purchase this card, and I'm going to put a little description on it. This is a USB 3.0 conversion of a card, but this one requires power, right? You actually need the 4-pin connection to power to generate power on the actual on the board, on the PCI. So basically, it's just they give you 3 USB, but they give you actually 4, 3 on the outside, 3 external, and 1 internal. So when you buy a motherboard, let me twist it out this way, and I'm going to set this up right here. Basically, you find one of your inputs in here. I'm gonna put it in here. Pretty much, and it goes sideways. And this is how it seems outside. So this is the external part of it. And of course, when you buy, if you want to split your splitter that I just demonstrate you, a couple splitters here. So if you buy your splitter and you have a USB splitter with two connections, you can always connect the USB internal to power up your internal fans in here, giving you more fan space, which is a lot great, you know, because a lot of people run out of space, like I said, in not enough fan connections. And you could bring an older motherboard to the next generation and continue its life. So this is a great option. You know, you have this internal card, and this card is pretty good. It's a USB 3.0 USBs that they sell, but you need to power it up with a 4-pin. The newer version is a SATA connection, but this is an older card that I like. I always go to these cards because not enough. Sometimes we don't have enough USBs connections. If you have all these connections connecting to this, you know VRs and mouse and everything requires RGB lighting. For example, a lot of these keyboards have 2 USBs, one for the lighting and one for the actual functions of the keyboard. So it requires a lot of power and a lot of connections that are taken. So this is another great option. And I'm gonna put a description in here of where you can get it and what you can do. But like I said, you're going to require power to power this up. Either 4 pins or the newer version, which is a SATA connection on here. And then, like I said, a lot of these do have internal USB. So a lot of people use the internal USB for water pumps, for example. You have a water pump generating, pumping the water and circulating through the CPU. You could connect it directly to here. Now, there is no control of these things. You know, it's just not controllable. But you could kill the power on these easily too. Now, the external connections are pretty good. They even have Type C. And we're going to talk about the next video on that, on the Type C and 2 different ones and compare them to. So you do require to have a extra port that you could plug these in anywhere of these PCI connections that you have and bring in your motherboard to the next generation. These are a great option to add more fans. And we have this one right here in particular. And we have this. We have 2 different connections. 5 volts, 12 volts. Now, depending on how much voltage you have on your power supply, I would recommend you go with the minimum is possible. But if you're up to date with the newest power and you got plenty to generate power in your USB distribution and your GPU, then go ahead and get the 12 volts. Generates more power, more actual air inflow, and then it blows it out too if you need to. But these are great options. And like I said, with this is another option that you can purchase. Very simple, very easy to set up on the motherboard. And if you have any questions or any comments, I'm your host, Prophet74, and we're out.